Wow, that was weird. Okay, it looks like things are coming back online. Access this feature. Weird, weird. Hey, you up? Thanks for joining us right now. Trying to get everything back online. Alrighty, Ariel, what is up? Love your content. Thank you very much, buddy. King 9 will not return Village Idiot News. New one. What's a new one? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Had some technical difficulties a few minutes ago, but I'm back. Waiting to hear from you guys. See what you guys want to talk about again tonight. We were on a roll with a couple of things, but then things went dark here at the house. That's not good. So, one interesting thing is, I'll be hitting the road here in the next couple of days. New show, but you just said, oh, thanks. Yeah, I'll be hitting the road here in about 3 days, and I got Starlink. So I tried it out for the first time Monday night. Yeah, doing some chats on that, and man, it was great. It worked really good. So hopefully, the next couple weeks, we'll be able to live stream from the middle of nowhere while I'm on the road. So, what's up, Jack Russell? How you doing tonight? I got one dog there. Yeah, there's one dog. There's another dog over here. Oh, there's another dog. Well, you guys are just joining in. Thanks for coming in. Just it's a free for all, just a round table tonight. Just wanted to see what everybody else is up to and what's up for discussion tonight. Hey, look, there's a dog. It's Air Force messing with new jamming equipment. Yeah, I bet it was. I think there was an AWACS that flew over. Oh, so what do you think about gun situation in the United States? Do you think the government should ban assault rifles? Okay, well, I started with that one. First off, there's no such thing as an assault rifle. That's a made-up term by the government. Um, Certainly, the gun situation in America. There is nothing wrong with the gun situation in America. I think, just like anything, the government needs to get out of the gun situation. What we have in our country right now is a serious mental health crisis, and I would yeah, I mean that's where we need to start, and we need to start with people either doing straw purchases or making sure that the guns that you do have are locked up and used appropriately. Because I think that's where a lot of we've been going wrong. I mean, considering that most normal people don't have an issue with it, don't have a problem with that. You know, I mean, just look at places like Chicago. I mean, criminals are going to get guns wherever they're going to get guns from. So you take away guns, you're just people just gonna have killing people like they do in Japan with knives or screwdrivers or something, right? So that's not going to change the situation. What's going to change the situation is just changing what's wrong with people right now. It's underdog behind you. Yes, it is. Yeah, focus on mental health. I mean that's where it really needs to go. I mean, stop prescribing people things they don't need to prescribe. Start taking care of people that need to be taken care of. I mean, teach your kids gun safety, teach your kids what they need to know about things. I mean, there are also people who, just willy nilly leave their guns around their house. That's not I mean, it depends on where you live, right? And I'll give you that one. But I mean, when my kids were younger, I didn't leave any of the guns just sitting out. Oh, here's a combo to the safe. Criminals won't care. Yeah, in fact, they'll be happy with most people. I can guarantee you right now, if you outlawed guns, the only people that have guns are criminals because normal people and law-abiding citizens are not going to commit those kind of crimes. Not on the scale in which they do now. And the cat's already out of the bag, right? I mean, you can go to a hardware store and build yourself a gun. So that's not the point. Yeah, take care of your neighbors and your community. Hey, farm, you know, go to Farm Supply. Have a good night, Fireman. Thank you for joining in tonight. Really appreciate it. Yeah, those terms like sovereign or assault weapon and sovereign citizen, it all comes out of the National Law Enforcement Center. Yeah, I mean, aren't we technically? And I'll give you this quote unquote all sovereign citizens. I mean, you're a sovereign citizen of the United States or the country in which you live in. An assault weapon could be anything. I mean, shit, your fist could be an assault weapon. If you keep assaulting somebody enough, it's now an assault weapon, right? assault weapons pertaining to a gun is just the government coining a term that something looks scary, right? I mean, you could take any gun and put it in a black chassis, and now it's scary, you know. So yeah, we're all going through that ban in Canada. It blows. I mean, luckily for America, we have it written into our constitution, so that'd be pretty hard to take away. And that with the current situation in the Supreme Court with the Bruin and the Heller decisions, I mean, they're going to have a really hard time passing any anti-gun laws. I mean, they can try, but they're already getting seriously, impacted. I mean, the biggest thing we can try to do right now is at least try to abolish the NFA and get rid of the ATF. Oh, thanks, Farm. I really important. I'm usually on every Monday morning. 'Cause that's when I have most of my free time. However, I'm leaving this house and my farm 'cause I just sold it. Well, I didn't just sold it. I sold it like a month ago, and I have to be out of here by Saturday, and then I'll be on the road for a couple weeks. So I don't really know what my schedule is going to be. But like I said, I just got Starlink, and I tested it out, and hopefully it'll work great. So. Bat shitty crazy preaching son. What's up? Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys even follow like the Matthew Hoover case and all the people that went down with that. It's crazy, but safe travels. But no, thank you. Um, but I mean, you guys, if you guys haven't seen or heard of the Bruin and the Heller decisions coming out of the Supreme Court, those are some monumental cases, or the Bonta cases here in California. I mean, I feel really bad for the people in Washington State right now because they're just getting destroyed by legislators up there. I mean, luckily their state government was just sued. So, I mean, hopefully they can get some of their shitty laws overturned. I mean, I thought Washington State was going to be a nice place to go to, but it's not doing well. Okay, National Law Enforcement Center came of age with this day and age, and you're required to give ID. Yeah, the this day and age thing. Oh my god, I hate when law enforcement people say that. That is such a crock of shit. Mr. Obvious, I just subbed to you last month, and it's the first time I've had to watch you and listen. Where are you from, by the way? Are you a Canadian? Absolutely not. I love my Canadian brothers and sisters, but I am 100% American. America. I live in the communist state of California. Um, Unfortunately, I mean, it's a beautiful place to live. Don't get me wrong. It's probably one of the most beautiful places to live that I've ever been, at least in my recent memories. It's just the state government is absolutely horrific. So, but other than that, California is a great place. I mean, if you could like nuke Sacramento, San Francisco, and LA, it's a great place to live. I did too. I'm from San Diego. Yeah, San Diego, great place, right? Great culture, great everything about there. But yeah, I mean, just the state government's just terrible. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Jack Russell. Appreciate it. Yeah, Cali has a bigger pop than all of Canada. Yeah, I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, you can't, literally, I'm pretty sure every time you flush your toilet here in California, they probably send you a bill. I mean, I'm joking because I pay my own sewer bill, but I mean, if they could probably put a shit meter on your toilet, they'd probably charge you $5 every time you took a shit, just because why not? They could tax you on your shit. I'm sure they would try it. Shit. It's way too expensive to live there, from what I hear. Yeah, it's pretty damn expensive to live here. I also happen to live, I think, per capita, I think, in the most expensive um, county in all of the state, which doesn't help things out either, too. So, Governor Brown, Governor Moonbeam. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen. Yeah, I can just thinking back all the governors that I've seen through my childhood and through. I don't think I've seen a good governor out of California. God, maybe since Reagan, and I don't even think I was alive then. I definitely wasn't alive then because he was the president in the '80s. So, I was, yeah. Wilson, Pete Wilson wasn't terrible. I mean, there's been worse. Schwarzenegger was a pretty bad one too. I mean, literally, I can't think of any. The best California could have done years ago would have been, I think, Meg Whitman. I mean, she was the CEO, I believe, of what, HP. When like that whole thing went down with Schwarzenegger, and Meg Whitman, I believe, would have been the best governor we probably could have had. Gun control, Reagan. I mean, the only bad thing that Reagan did was sign in the Hughes Amendment, and I don't think he knew what he was doing. So, I think they snuck that one in there. But you also got to think they had the freaking war on drugs, and they had all kinds of weird shit. You had freaking gangbangers, blowing each other up. I mean, they're shooting each other up. I mean, it was just a bad time. So I don't blame him for that. But the the 1986 Hughes Amendment was, you know, and the GC. I mean, all that was just terrible. Oh, sorry, Marty. I didn't notice that. Is it Starlink pricey? Let's see. It runs anywhere right now between, at least what I've got, anywhere between 120 $150 a month. And I'm literally going to be in the middle of nowhere for 3 weeks. There is no phone service. There's no internet service. I believe we have water and power, and that's all I need. And I tried it out the other day, and it worked flawlessly. So to me, that's worth it. If I can live stream and I can, watch the stuff on my TV and make phone calls in the middle of nowhere, I think that's worth it. I mean, I think the biggest cost, it was about, with tax and everything, and then I got the Ethernet adapter. It was like $720 for all the equipment. So I mean, that's pricey. So I mean, there's a huge upfront cost. Um, but the fact that you can travel anywhere, and I mean, at least this hemisphere, and get internet, I mean, I'll take that for $150 a month. So where are you going, brother? I am, well, this house that I live in, and you can probably see the patches. Saturday is the last day that I'm going to live here, and I'm going to go in our travel trailer up to a lake for about 3 weeks, because my other house that I'm building is not built yet. So I have to wait for that. And so we figured we just escape from reality for a while and go out in the middle of nowhere. I still got to commute to work, but yeah, we're just gonna kind of go chill in the woods for a while, go chill by a lake, and go live in a trailer down by the river. Except it's not a river, it's a lake. But yeah, that's where we're going. So, but there's no cell service, there's no internet, there's nothing out there. Like I said, there's water and power, and that's it. So that's why I got Starlink. So I'm going to try it out. I will report back to you. I also have a travel channel that I started last summer that I didn't really get a chance to focus on because of personal things in my life, but I'm going to redo again here this summer. And I'm going to start doing travel vlog stuff and reviewing things like, Starlink technology stuff. I got yeah, sounds like a great summer. Yeah. I mean, I got to start doing other footage. I got a DJI Mavic Mini Pro 3, so I'm going to be trying that out. I got a DJI Osmo 6, going to try that out. I did a live stream. Oh God, when was that? Monday. I did a couple live stream Mondays on Monday with the Osmo 6, and it was pretty cool. I really liked it. I couldn't quite figure out how I was shot everything in portrait really well, but then I tried to flip it over to landscape, and YouTube didn't like that. So I'll have to figure that one out. Sounds great. Don't forget your side protection, bear spray. Yeah, surprisingly, there are a bunch of freaking black bears there. Yes, but we will have plenty of protection with this. Do you know the book, The Great Controversy by Ellen G. White, book for the hour? I do not. Um, please let us know what that is. Smith Sydney, that would be great to know. I have never really been a big book reader. It's just not one of my things. I guess I'm an intellectual when it comes to like learning things. Like I've taught myself how to do anything on the computer, all kinds of technical things like that, but and I can read a technical manual and I can read well. I just have never like the entertainment value in reading just to me isn't really there. It was written in 1888. I'm sure it's probably still relevant today. So I heard last week someone got half eaten by a black bear. Were they on cocaine? How about chess? You know what? I actually used to play chess a lot back when I was in like junior high and high school. Really enjoyed that too. But again, I kind of grew up in the start of the computer generation, so I started getting really heavy into video games. But before video games were on consoles, so like on computers and things like that. So that's kind of where my focus always went. Like I can't even use a freaking controller on a console. I can do ASWD and the mouse and everything like that, and I used to be really into games, but just not so much lately. And not about that, but yeah, I would say kind of computers took over my fun over like board games. Surfboard says, "Isn't homeless and illegal a huge problem in California?" Yes, we have a huge homelessness problem. I think illegals was a different question. I think we have a huge homelessness problem. One, because the government here in California hands them everything. Second, there's a huge mental crisis problem, and they don't do anything about it. And second or third, the weather's fantastic. So if you're homeless, where are you going to go? You're going to go where the weather's nice. So I mean, if you were homeless, you're not going to go to Michigan and live in the snowpack, right? You're not going to go to Canada where it's cold. So I think homelessness in itself, anywhere the weather is warm, is going to attract that kind of thing. So as far as illegal immigrants go, I would have to also hate to call people illegal. I don't like illegal immigration, but I don't think people necessarily illegal. My take on it would be if you wanted to come to the country, like I have to go to your country legally and get a job, you should have to come to my country legally and get a job. So, I mean, it's also a mixed feeling, mixed bag, right? Because there are certain jobs that they do that we don't want to do, and they're more than willing to take them sometimes than we are. But I mean, you should still get here legally. I don't think you should try to come to somebody else's country just to take down their welfare system, basically. So, anyways, talk about jobs and wages. Why are so many people leaving there? Okay, well, let's talk about jobs and wages. The wages out here are decent and always really have been. The problem you're seeing now is that they have exponentially rose the rate of minimum wage so high that it's starting to compete with people. Like you're looking right now that some kid working at McDonald's makes $18 an hour, but the entry wage at some other job with a college degree is $20 an hour. Well, what's the incentive to go to college and get a job? Not that that's the perfect example, but you see a lot of that around here. So the biggest problem I think why people are leaving is because they're going to come out here, get their education, and then they're going to go somewhere else. Say they get a job in like the nursing field or something like that, and they're going to go to some other place and they're going to make maybe 20 or 30% less, but their dollar is going to go a lot more because they aren't not paying some kid at McDonald's 17.50 an hour to flip a freaking hamburger, right? That's ridiculous. And why are so many people? They're probably going to leave just like I'm going to leave. I have about 4 more years that I have to live here until I can quote unquote retire from the job that I have now, and that's only because I need to put enough time into the system. But yeah, I mean, we're out of here as soon as possible because it's terrible. I mean, again, it's a beautiful place to live. It's just it's run really poorly. Jack Russell, I'll go heavily on plunk going out the. you know, I'd never shoot a bear unless it was trying to come at me because bears are pretty cool. Hey, puppy, you there, puppy over there. Pup. Yeah, I hear you about the computer takeover. I feel bad for anybody that tries to come out and get a job. I mean, I look at like the industry that I worked in. Like, I think I worked in a tech company before to have the job that I have now. And I took a pretty good pay cut to go work for the job that I have. And it took me, 10, 15 years to make a really good salary. And within that same 10 or 15 years, minimum wage, kind of went in a straight line to, and now somebody making minimum wage is making, I'm only making $10, $15 an hour more than they are. And I put in a whole bunch of time. I learned a whole bunch of things. I educated myself more, went to training. These people have done nothing. So I think I think that's where the disparity is coming from. And then you also have this huge culture right now. Like, you just can't find people to come work. Like, they're getting paid this huge money for minimum wage, and they don't even want to show up. We try to hire young people, and they're lazy. They don't want to do anything. They think everything should be handed to them, and that's just ridiculous. And then they're still making $20 an hour for minimum wage. It's awful. They should be paying you more. Yeah, they definitely should be paying you more. Let's just say I only work where I work right now. Necessarily, I mean, the money's good, but I work there for the retirement. So that's it. If you're interested, here's a link to the book in PDF format. Hey Smith, I'd love to go see that. Send me an email. It's on my about, and I will take it there. Okay. But I do appreciate that. I think that's great. I will have to go look up that. Well, Mr. or Mrs. Sydney, can you tell everybody what the book is about? Is it something cool? Something we should all get into? So anyway, enough me talking. What do you guys think about how things are run here? What's your thoughts on marijuana? I've said this for probably since I was, when I was of age, before I was even of age. I knew they were going to legalize it at some point, anyways. And my thought on it back, I think I wrote a paper on this when I was in high school. They should legalize it and tax the shit out of it, like just like they do with alcohol, right? You want to go do it? Great. It's not like it harms you any more than drinking a fucking beer does. And shit, drinking a beer or even drinking alcohol is more dangerous than you can't possibly smoke enough weed to cause as much damage as if you drank enough to go drive a car. I mean, you just can't. You can't overdose on it. You can't do anything. So you might as well have the government make money off of it, and maybe schools might be better funded. But so I mean, yeah, fucking smoke all the weed you want. Now, should you come to work high to be not to not be able to do your job, just like you shouldn't show up to work drunk? No. But I mean, if you want to go home and twist one up, like, by all means. I mean, I probably would too. I mean, I just don't right now because, well, first of all, I can't. The job that I have, if they ever drug tested us, they'd probably be pretty upset about that. But I mean, in the same regard, I don't know what they would do even if they did. But I mean, it's not something I want to do at the moment, right? Not to say that in 5 years when I'm not working there anymore, I'll be like, oh, time to come home and twist one up, puff puff give. You know what I'm saying? Turn on a little Warren G. Yeah, I mean, and even now, I mean, I bet you could. I don't know. You could probably drive down the street and freaking smoke and fucking joint. They're probably not going to do anything about it. Weird question. Would there be any benefit to having a lawyer besides you while you're auditing? I think there's actually a few people who do. It probably wouldn't hurt the situation any. I think it'd be kind of neat. I think it'd be pretty cool. Hey, Rakesh. Hey, from India. How's it going? Jack Russell, my wife studied for 5 years to have passed her agricultural exam. She passed maximum points of 110. Now, the same course is a 3-year course, not 5 and 24 exams are missing from, yeah. And they're just making it easier, right? Paint the Sky said, hey, what made you start this channel? A couple of different things. So, I mean, I've always been interested in YouTube. I've always been interested in I was still super involved in Second Amendment community. But last summer, my daughter took me or had me take her to something called VidCon that happens, I think, in about 5 or 6 different places around the world. Maybe only 4. I could be wrong there. So it's a bunch of where like YouTube, TikTok, and other creators go to, and mainly influences the younger crowd. So she wanted me to go. I didn't know anything about it. I mean, I knew what this whole platform and everything was about. So I decided to go. Well, took her there. I think it was for like a birthday present or something. So I took her. It was down in Los Angeles and Anaheim, to be more specific. So something that we could do as a kind of a father daughter thing. So we actually hopped on the train, just because I'd never taken the train before. And we went down from here to Anaheim, spent a week at VidCon. I kind of really got into the technical aspect of it because they had a big convention with all Canon, GoPro, Adobe, every major player in the software filming camera. I mean, everyone was there, so I really spent a lot of time doing that. Ended up winning some GoPro stuff and just got a whole bunch of stuff from GoPro. And I was like, hey, this is kind of cool. So I started messing around with the GoPro. And then a few years back, my employer violated my civil rights, First Amendment rights, which I've been fighting for a while now. And then ended up actually doing it again a couple of months ago. And so it just kind of got me really more fired up about being part of the First Amendment community. And it's kind of got me when we started doing this. And that's kind of, in a nutshell, that's where it came from. So it just kind of came from a desire to have fun and kind of a father daughter project to me just having a really good time in a side project doing it. And trying right now, I didn't have a time to do all of audits myself, so I was kind of reaching out to some other people out there. And then YouTube started monetizing shorts in February, so I reached out to some people and started chopping up some of their videos and making shorts of them, and that kind of took off. So it's kind of where I've been doing um, probably the last 3 or 4 months. But I love enjoying going out and making my own content. I just live in a really small area, and there's already some really good auditors around here who've kind of like, I don't want to say cleaned up the area, but it's really hard for it's really, the police don't really respond if you go out there right now, especially if you're like one of us, because they know, I wouldn't say they know who we are, but they know what we're doing right when we show up, and they don't do anything dumb. I have not seen any of them, except for one city around here, do anything stupid. They kind of know what the deal is, and they just kind of educate the people and go off. So there isn't a whole lot to be there isn't a whole lot of new content to be made here, if that makes sense. Clandestine operations. Yeah, did you guys see that one? Rakesh, you got to go check that one out. What kind of racism have you experienced seen personally in California? There is at least in this area, there's definitely a lot of racism towards any. I would say probably more like the Hispanic culture than anything else. Um, Honestly, saying there aren't many other minorities around here. It's just kind of one of those things. There's very few African American people or other, people from Europe in that realm. I mean, at the college here, there might be astronomically more of them just because of that's where the college is. But in general, I think our general census is there's like it's 92% Caucasian, 8% something else here. So I would say I don't really experience racism here. And then being somebody from the West Coast, and I've talked to my parents about this, the racism problems that are in some parts of our country are not necessarily prevalent here that I've seen. So, well, I like your channel. It's cool. Thanks, Paint the Sky. I really hope that answered your question there, Paint. But I enjoy having you guys here. This is also why I started this, just to give back to the community and give back to you guys, and just trying to be a voice for the voiceless or those who don't think they can come out and do it. Everyone can go out there and do it, go out there and do audits, or everyone can go out there and just be a part of it. You don't have to be like anybody else. But I mean, I can tell you right now, it's scary when you go out there and do it your first time, and trying to be calm and collective is difficult. I still have a hard time with it. I start feeding off people's emotions, and I start getting ramped up. I go into it trying to be calm, and then just kind of goes out the window sometimes, just because that's just my personality. I'm not like Dan from Otton Erie County or Sean from Long Island, they can just stay at a same level. I get amped up. It's just me. So I really miss Cali Mexican food. Yeah, just had some of that today. Just had me a burrito bowl, and it was bomb. But I mean, you go to Texas. I'm from, my family. A lot of my family was from Texas, and they have some good Mexican food. But I mean, you go down south by San Diego, Los Angeles. They have good Mexican food down there. Up here, it's like Tex-Mex. Cops run away from me. Nancy, how you doing? Like your show? Hey, you know what, Nancy? I really enjoy you being here too. Thanks for stopping by. I love the San Diego County Sheriff's Office. King Nine. So King Nine will not return village. Uh, Interesting. One of the call signs that I know is King Nine. Coach James, hey from Panama. Keep doing what you're doing. God bless. Thank you very much. James J. Parker, being executor of the trust. No governments, only corporations. Clearfield Doctrine 1942. I don't know what any of that's about. I'll have to look into that. King, I might have missed it. I know you said you missed your Cali food. Where are you at now? Did you say you're in Florida now? Do you see any famous people on a regular basis? Yes. I see Chuck Liddell all the time. Well, at least I used to. Decatur, Illinois. Oh, I have not been to Illinois yet. I'd love to go check that out someday. How did you make it from California up there? Who else do we see regularly? I see, yeah. I mean, as far as like famous people you guys might know, yeah, I see Chuck Liddell like, at least until a couple of years ago, I used to see him like, he used to eat at all the restaurants we always went to. So only temporary. Paint the sky. Which video interactions that you created was the best debate you've had with a police officer? You know what? Honestly, like I said, it's kind of been picked through here. I have personally have not had any debates with any police officers here. They've all been super cordial and I would say understanding. And I was out on Monday and I talked to a guy who was perfectly fine. So I have not, and I'm going to go air quote this, had the pleasure of having a debate with an officer. I live in a pretty small area, and I think most police departments have less than 20 officers per department. So like I said, they generally have a clue as to what's going on. There are very few officers, at least in my area, who go off the rails. So I don't really have that interaction. It'd be interesting to have a debate with them. I have debates with them on personal levels when I go out with some people I know that are law enforcement officers, but I have not had that debate with people. So. Oh, it's a long story. Long story how you made it out to Illinois. Yeah, I mean, talk about the gun problems that you have in America. I mean, look at Chicago. I mean, the amount of gun violence in that city, and I can guarantee you that 90% of the people who do the shootings in Chicago didn't acquire that gun legally, right? Yeah, you got to go into more rural areas to get people that are more confrontational. Yeah, I mean, just look at any of the people who do audits from, say, like Texas East, right? That's when you start getting into like weird things and just like I don't know, just see some weird shit come out of the South. You see everything from from the Eastern Seaboard all the way down is just getting into weird stuff. You typically don't see a whole lot of weirdness coming out of like the West Coast and northern, central states, and I don't know why that is. And maybe it's just, it's got to be a culture thing. And I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be racist or whatever, but that's just what I see. I'm into military history and military. Oh, me too. I would say, most of the weapons that I own or have owned or want to own or I mean, I love collecting World War II stuff, Vietnam era stuff. I think that's just my kind of that's my jam. I've got some started collecting some weapons that came out of West Germany and that actually say Western Germany on them. Some weird. I like collecting weird stuff that you I like also anything that you can actually still shoot. I don't like collecting guns that you can't shoot just to look at. You should, to me, all your collectibles should be something that still should be shootable. But it's fun collecting just odd things, especially as long as ammo's still available for it. What kind of military do you like collecting there, King 9? King 9, 10 4. All kinds. Yeah. Yeah, me too. It's just money and time, right? Wish we all had more of that. Oh, she's over here. Hi, Khaleesi. James, you are going on some weird tangents there, brother. Terry Schultz just found a show. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, mainly World War II, Russian, German. Yeah, I mean, I remember back in the day. I don't know how old you are, but back in the day, stop. You could pick up Mosins at Big Five for like $79. Fuck, should have bought like 100 of them. Now they're like $500 for a freaking Mosin a gun. I don't think even like Car 98s were that expensive or any. Oh man, you can't even touch that stuff anymore. I mean, you can if you have the money for it. But yeah, I'd love to go find some good cars and some good collectible Mosins. You can work on an MG42 in my sleep. I'd love to have one of those. All my weapons are bringing back. Oh, like Vietnam, World War II. Okay, that's cool. So that's right. So Illinois. So I'm assuming that Illinois is actually one of those constitutional states where you can actually own cool stuff, unlike here. Oh, you got the civilian version. Okay, so you got the semi-automatic version. I say, man, you have an authentic MG42. I mean, what is that, like 50 to 60 grand right now? Most of those things are all made of unobtainium. Yeah, it depends on who made it. Yeah, I mean, you can still pick up some. I mean, your cheapest one that you can find now is probably what, like an Uzi, probably still goes for like 10 grand for a full auto. I mean, you can't, obviously in California, you can't own any of that cool stuff, but yeah, any of the good bringbacks have just got to be super expensive at this point. Surfboard, no matter where you are these days, you can smell weed everywhere. Most people can get cars easily. We have generation of slackers as far as work and generational responsibilities. Oh, that's 100%. I can't deny anything you just said there, Surf. Speaking of surf, are you I used to surf back in the day. Where are you from there, Surf? Are you from the east or west coast? Again, there's nothing wrong with smoking the weed. Just make sure you go to work every day and take care of your business. Be a productive member of society, then come home and smoke the doobies. East Coast. Okay, I don't know much about surf on the East Coast. I did all of my surfing in California. We have weird breaks out here. Like you can like even in like the 20-mile stretch that I have near my house, like some is a beach break, some's a point break, some's rock, some is a reef, and you can go literally like 300 or 400 yards and you'll get different breaks. It's pretty cool. But the water is cold, and it's always cold. It can be 100 degrees out, and the water is always cold. Jersey Shore, Cocoa Beach, and Costa Rica. Oh man, I would love to go to Costa Rica someday. It looks beautiful down there. I didn't realize there was surfing in New Jersey. Well, guys, I need to sign off here in a few. Any last thoughts before I take off? Any final thoughts on how today is going? King Nine, you got to join back again. I'd love to continue the discussion. 7:15 there. Yeah, seven. It's about 7:18 on the dot. Thanks, Henry. I just got the sun's going down, and I got a few things I need to take care of. Thanks, James. Enjoyed reading your commentary. I'll have to look into some of that. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining in. God bless everyone. You have a wonderful evening. Stick around. There's a good short coming out tomorrow morning. It's an older one, and I'd never seen it before. But this Asian cop goes batshit crazy. Not as good as the one I just did today for that lady who got her freaking camera destroyed by that freaking lieutenant. You guys, if you haven't seen that one, check that out. Yeah, there's a good one coming out tomorrow morning, and yeah, probably and Friday. I've been not doing things on the weekends because I've been busy, but thank you all. I really appreciate it, and as always, I love you. Hope to see you next time. Please like, subscribe, and share. You guys have a wonderful day. Mr. Obvious out.